What's up, everybody? Welcome to Keeping It 9450, codename WBB. This is the podcast that covers all things women's basketball. I'm your host, Daniel Ortiz, joined by my usual co-host, my ace boom from the other room. Hey Dot is in the building, and we are thrilled to be here. We're halfway through, K-Dot. Episode number 6 of our WNBA season preview series, The Training Ground. In today's episode, we will be talking about the defending champions, the Las Vegas Aces, from their roster changes to their potential for back-to-back title run. We are here for it all. So if you're a die-hard Las Vegas Aces fan, you don't want to miss this episode. But, Kata, I gotta ask you the question. Listen, man, how do you think that the roster additions for the Las Vegas Aces enhance this team's chances of winning back-to-back championships, brother?
What up? What it is was popping. Listen, if anybody has any doubt, any reservations about the Las Vegas Aces' potential of repeating, let me just laugh at you right now, because this roster makeup has no business being the way that it looks right now.
Facts.
You go on to win the WNBA championship with a bench that ranked in the bottom part of the league last year. And what's so incredible about the makeup is you ended up getting a Hall of Famer.
Right.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? So what I think is, I truly believe that the Las Vegas Aces are in a great position to repeat, and they will be if I'm not mistaken, I want to say they would be the first back-to-back since the LA Sparks in 2001, 2002.
Yeah.
So that's the goal. And I know that A'ja Wilson and Candace Parker will be in elite company going back-to-back if they can do that, with Lisa Leslie being at the helm back in 01 and 02. When you add a Candace Parker, when you add an Alicia Clark, and to be honest with you, when you add a Kayla George, that is something remarkable. And you scratch your head and just ask how. I truly believe that this roster is definitely one of those rosters that could potentially run the table just based off of what happened last year. And because they have the additional depth that they needed coming in, I really think it's going to be something very special. Now, the biggest question for this team is health. We know that Raquana Williams, she was out a good while last year with a foot injury. She came back in the finals, and she was actually a real key part in the Aces winning that game 4, if you will. I also believe that Alicia Clark, coming off the foot injury, not last year, but the year before, in her recovery, and I believe her foot injury was the Liz Frank injury that she was recovering from. I didn't think she had the mobility when she was with the Washington Mystics, but of course, continuing to rehab and work herself in. I think this year she'll be fully healthy. That is something very scary, in my opinion. I truly believe that the maturity of Kirsten Bell and the maturity of Asia Shepherd having another year under their belt, especially with Kirsten Bell playing in AU, I think that helps out a lot as well. And it's definitely going to be an exciting season for the Las Vegas Aces. I even, on the page, I talked about the high IQ and just great ability of Candace Parker and what I like to see from an offensive standpoint, and the way she's able to navigate through off-ball movement and using certain sets. I referenced, and for the basketball heads out there who actually understand plays, a 41 flare is a 4-out-1-in type play where you're basically Chelsea Gray or Kelsey Plum, right? You're taking the ball and giving it to Candace Parker out on the wing, between the elbow wing, extend it, and just allow Candace Parker to navigate, make reads. So if you have the one where Jackie Young would set the flare screen and you're able to hit the three. If not, you have the two, which would be either Chelsea Gray or Kelsey Plum coming off the back screen to the basket cut with Asia Wilson setting that screen. You have so many options there. You can have easy lay. You can have Asia Wilson just opening up and popping out for the jump shot. You can have Candace Parker drive into the basket. Candace Parker, just the sheer magnet that she is herself, is definitely going to make a lot of teams cringe a little bit because you will definitely not know how to defend them. Chelsea Gray, which I was a little bothered that she was number 9 in the fantasy power rankings.
That was crazy, bro. Come on.
She's back with her best friend. They won a championship in LA, and she's actually back with her best friend in Candace Parker. So when you have that, and then you have the reigning MVP and Defensive Player of the Year in Asia Wilson, come on. Like, what are we doing here? And then you have Kelsey Plum, her scoring is going to open up so much more because there's going to be so much into what Asia Wilson is doing, to what Candace Parker is doing, to what Chelsea Gray is doing. Like, she is going to be, for defenders, she's going to be insufferable because they're going to have to dream about it the night before. So I do think that the Las Vegas Aces, man, they have an incredible roster, but I know I went on a whole tangent. I want to hear your thoughts because what isn't to talk about how great this Las Vegas roster actually looks like. And from a training camp standpoint, even the training camp bodies, the training camp deals, they're good as well. And hopefully one of them will be able to snag a contract this year.
Yeah, we could talk about the Aces for 2 hours straight, to be honest, man. You know, me, I'm not going to really go on a crazy rant. It's just, listen, you get Candace Parker, which is one of the best players in the history of women's basketball, somebody that can really make an impact on every part of the game, every facet of the game. Like you said, the communication she has with Chelsea Gray, winning the championship with her, and now they linking back up. I think that should be an easy adjustment for Candace to mesh with this Aces roster. I feel, and I know that you feel like, that once Candace Parker figures out the Aces and the Aces figure out Candace Parker, this team is probably going to be better than last year's team, brother.
Definitely.
I feel like their chances of going back to back is really high with the addition of Alicia Clark as well. I think that the league is banking on it. I think that the fans is banking on it. Listen, even the betting odds is banking on it. I think the only thing they really need to worry about is that investigation that's going on right now. Also with Becky Hammon with the NBA talk, we seen the Toronto Raptors got permission to interview her for the position. All they're just going to do is talk. They ain't going to really, she'll be around. That's how I feel. And I also think with what's going to help the Aces again is I think they had a little injury spell early in the season, but their health they was really fortunate to avoid a lot of injuries.
Absolutely.
Obviously, they wasn't that deep, but they added these new players. You know what I'm saying? You could say they're like insurance or whatever. I think that also with that new practice facility, they have a whole injury prevention team and everything. Like, that's dope. They don't understand how important that is right there, to have that practice facility. Like, all this stuff matters when it comes to winning, to be comfortable. We've seen Candace Parker on the Draymond Green show talking about, she can actually leave her gear there and come back and it's going to be there. That's crazy. As many years as she played in the league, she can never do that. That's insane, K-Dot. And also, how does Alicia Clark looks coming from injury? How she's going to get back to her pre-injury form? Because Clark, she's a really good defender. I think that she's a perimeter defensive stopper on that wing. She could also use her back to the basket and kill all those mismatches. And she could also go to the perimeter, hit the jump shot. I think that she can make a huge impact on this team once she gets fully healthy, once she get them sea legs out of her and everything like that. But Kayla, I got to ask you a question. Everybody is talking about this Kayla George player. I need you to introduce her to our listeners that's not familiar with her, I'm hearing that she can post and she can also step out. I remember I was like, I'm gonna go see her play. I'm gonna check her out on YouTube. But I was like, you know what? I want to wait to how she looks in the pros. The WNBA, obviously she's a pro overseas, but I want to wait till she gets to the top level of basketball in the W. But everybody said this is probably the most underrated signing in the entire league because of what she's able to bring. So give us a little bit on Kayla George.
Yeah, so Kayla George is, of course, the Aussie, and she has seen tons of our WNBA pros playing overseas as well as playing on the Australian national team with Sandy Brondello being the coach, and also have Sammy Whitcomb there, Beck Allen there. Even before the entire controversy of Liz Cambage, she's always been there. And Kayla George is the type of player that when you talk about versatility and mismatch, Kayla George is that person. Kayla George is a big frame where, you know, in most cases, she can back you down in a cross match. If you are bigger than her, she can take you off the dribble. She's very cerebral, a dynamic playmaker. I do think that lineup of her at the 4 and Candace Parker at the 5 will be a lot of trouble because both can obviously rebound the mess out of the basketball. But when you have those two, I wouldn't say I think Candace Parker is at the veteran age that she is where she will be more of the trailer. But Kayla George is that person that grabs the rebound, goes to the outlet, and just sprints down the floor and is able to just catch the ball on the move and make savvy plays. I truly believe that Kayla George is going to be something amazing for the Las Vegas Aces. And you have to remember, she is playing for a coach that knows every facet of the pro game. And we're talking about the international game because Becky Hammond, obviously, everybody has to remember Becky Hammond. She played for the Russian national team. She didn't play for USA. She played for the Russian national team. So there are so many sets that she is familiar with from an overseas standpoint, and she understands the Australian way of playing so much because of that experience with the Russian national team and being overseas in Russia and playing a lot of those Aussies and playing against a lot of those Aussies when she was playing, picked up a lot. And then under the tutelage of Coach Popovich, who is very notorious and great international players in the way he understands the international game. I think that Kayla George is, yes, the most underrated signing that we've seen this year. And I really think that Kayla George is going to give you a dynamic version of Emma Mieseman. Dynamic version. Emma Mieseman, obviously, everybody knows that she can put the ball in the basket. She does very well with her size and takes advantage. And I think Kayla George can be in the same realm, but doing a lot more playmaking in that 41 and 50 set offense that the Aces are going to run. And again, when you have Kayla George in your lineup, I think she is a definite upgrade from someone like a Teresa Plaisance or a Repair. That's a definite upgrade at that spot, especially coming off the bench. And also, if there's a case where Candace Parker is not necessarily resting, was not going to be in the starting lineup, you can plug Kayla George in the starting lineup with the Asia Wilson still playing the 5 and be able to do a lot of great things. So that's what I think Kayla George is going to bring to this team. And it's really, to be honest with you, is oh my God, it's scary hours in Vegas right now, especially with that dope facility that they have. So dope.
Yeah, I agree, man. Yeah, it's definitely gonna be scary hours. I can't wait for us to talk about the Liberty. I cannot wait for that one. Yeah, but I'm like, to end the show, the Las Vegas Aces added significant players to their roster. Their expectations this season has reached a fever pitch. I think that with the depth, the injury prevention, Alicia Clark injury, how she returns from that, I think that would be important factors in this team's success. This team is about to be the standard of what success is really. They got the new facility. All that stuff matters into winning, Kate. Everything matters. Just being comfortable. When you walk into your house, you're just feeling comfortable and everything. Not like you're living in a hotel, like how basically Candace Parker described her experience with other teams and everything. So looking forward to see what the Aces do. Is going to be real fun, especially when they got to go cross country and everything. But yeah, thank you for listening to Keeping It 9450, code name WBB. This is the Training Ground. This is a series, episode 6. I'm Daniel Artest. That's K-Dot. Love is love. Peace.
Peace out.